Middleweight Madness, Saturday, March 18th.
James Holder, IFL TV, in association with MTK Global. With me, I've got the greatest of all humans, the man that needs no introduction, but I will always say his name, MACKLIN. How are we?
I'm good, yeah.
Good, yeah. Talk to me about, firstly, CONLAN's New York experience. What's it been like so far? What's been going on?
It's been like a world title fight. Like, I'm not even joking. Well, it's been like a big world title fight. I've been to lots of world title fights that had nowhere near the buzz or hype or excitement about it. I mean, he's the talk of the place, really. You know, I mean, he's had like full pages in the New York Times. I've like respected writers that haven't written a boxing article in like 3 years. You know, and you're getting like full pages, and it's something unreal, really. I mean, I read an article yesterday where they said they haven't seen this kind of hype and excitement and buzz about an amateur making his pro debut since Oscar De La Hoya back in 1992, and he's probably the most high-profile fighter of the last 25 years. So that kind of shows you the level of hype that's gathering at the minute. But that's over now. It's the day of the fight, so he just has to stay focused, not let kind of just has to focus now. He's still got an opponent to beat. He's 4-4. It's his pro debut. It's not a world title fight. He should go in there and do a number on this kid, but at the same time he has to go in there and do it. So he has to stay focused now and just focus on the fight.
Shows how much pride and faith's got in him. Once Conseil Sal was an Olympic gold medalist and CONLAN's top of the bill, so it shows you the faith that Barham's got in.
Yeah, well, he should be a gold medalist, shouldn't he? I mean, if anything, I would say that the fact that he got robbed in such controversial, probably the most controversial robbery of the Olympic Games since Roy Jones back in 1988. So, and his reaction in the post-fight interview in the ring, where he swore at the judges and he effed and blinded on live TV and didn't give a shit about doing it. Gave the fingers. It was kind of an iconic moment, really. That picture of him giving like the two fingers, it has become iconic. And when his tweet to Putin went viral, and it probably in a weird way got him more sort of notoriety and more hype than if he'd won a gold medal. There were 10 or 11 other gold medal winners, but there was only one guy. There was only one person who was the real talk of the Olympics, and that was Michael CONLAN. And from an ability point of view, he'd proven that. For 4 years building up to it, he was the favourite to win gold medal. He was a bronze medal winner back in 2012 at the London Olympics. He won a world amateur champion, got Commonwealth Games gold medalist, European Games gold medalist, best boxer for that tournament. So it was nailed on for him to go on and win a gold medal. But he got robbed, just like Mayweather did, just like Evander Holyfield did, just like Roy Jones did. So
if he would have swallowed and not reacted as he reacted, would it have been swept under the carpet? Would he be here right now?
I don't think he'd be here right now. Not with this level of hype and sort of interest. I think the fact that he did what he did. He tweeted Putin. He got however many thousand retweets. It went viral. He was in the newspapers over here in America. It was that bad of a decision. It was that prolific. And I think if he hadn't reacted like that, if he'd just been a good boy and bowed his head and walked out, that would have been. But I think people seeing him standing up against a corrupt establishment and not giving a shit.
I think it's got like the mix of a film script about it, that everyone lost their jobs and corruption and the story of not getting it, to then being signed by probably one of the biggest promoters in the game, the top rank, the New York Linker.
Well, look, I mean, I compared it to the Roy Jones decision, because after Roy Jones, that's when they thought, this can't happen again, and that's when they went to the computer scoring. There's always been bad decisions at Olympics, but this was so bad and got such attention that, like you say, there was an inquest and 10 people got sacked. So, you can compare it, you can draw comparisons, but there probably could be a film made on it, especially if he goes on and achieves what everyone thinks he will do.
Is there any update regarding Conor McGregor? We've heard potentially he could be out there.
No, he is coming out. He's on a flight now. Yeah, he's on an Aer Lingus flight from Dublin to JFK, and he will be carrying out the Irish flag for Michael CONLAN.
Does that show the magnitude of CONLAN, the fact that one of the biggest stars in the world, not just someone who transcends sport, has made an effort to come out and support him?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it shows how big Michael is already in Ireland. He won Sports Personality of the Year on RTE, terrestrial television in Ireland. So, Conor McGregor probably is the biggest star in combat sport, alongside outside of Mayweather, who's retired, but he's a very flamboyant personality, and I don't think there's anyone in the world who watches any sport doesn't know who Conor McGregor is. And so for him to carry out the flag really sort of puts Michael on a certain level, doesn't it? And it's great to see him support him, and I'm sure the place will go electric.
Tim Ibro is in with a record of 4 wins, 4 losses. He's quite a durable kid. He's very experienced. What does Michael get out of this? Is it a case of just his hype and pro debut, or do you see these fights as learning fights as well?
No, he'll have tougher fights in the future. Well, we hope he goes out there and this isn't too tough of a fight. But he's, ultimately anyone can build a record. Anyone can build a padded record. It's easy. You just get guys that have no threat at all. But a good matchmaker and Top Rank have the best matchmakers. They build a fighter. They pick learning fights. They get him against the southpaw. They get him against a tall guy. They get him against a counter puncher. They get him against an aggressive guy, and they build a fighter. So he's, by the time he gets there, he's ready for anything. And this guy's 4-4. He's not a world beater, but his game is durable. He's going to come and have a go. He's had 8 weeks' notice. It's not. This isn't a Peter Buckley journeyman who's coming to survive and just. He's going to come with his own ambitions. It's a massive opportunity for him to put his name out there. And that's what you want, because it's sometimes it's difficult to look guys against who are intent on surviving. They look to hold, look to move, run, and they're negative. They don't throw a lot. It's difficult, but I think Tim will, he'll have his own script. He'll want to make a name for himself. I think he'll throw a lot. I think he'll really have a go, and I think that's good, because I think it'll give Michael the opportunities to get the gaps, to land cleanly, and I think he'll look good tonight.
Also, Andy Lee makes his return on Saturday for the undercard of Golovkin and JACOBS. So much talk over the years of yourself and Andy Lee potentially getting it on. How much of a regret is it to you that we didn't have that fight in maybe St Patrick's Day in New York potentially?
No, I think it would have been a huge fight here or in Ireland, and look, it would have been a great fight one time when we were both saying our primes, but it didn't happen. Andy's a lovely fella, and now I'm retired. I support him. I hope he goes on and wins a world title. I hope he wins tomorrow night. I've seen him earlier. He says he's in good shape. So he said the break. Sometimes, when you're training for fights and you're doing a lot of camps and you're living away from home, you're living out of a bag, and fight falls through, and you do another training camp. It's tiring, not physically, but mentally, emotionally, it's tiring. It can drain you a little bit, and you can lose your love for it. So he's took time out. He's had 15 months out, and I'd say that if he comes back now, he feels refreshed, rejuvenated, re-energised, and he's no spring chicken anymore. This is probably his last go at it, and I think he's hopefully he gets the win tomorrow night, and that's the start of one last little good run for him, and hopefully he gets another crack at it.
You mentioned the training and the camp. Obviously, he had 3 pull-ups for the Billy Joe fight. That's 3 camps, 3 press conferences, 3 everything you can imagine. So it must have been quite frustrating for him by the time he got in the ring, mentally, and quite draining experience.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think there was a few factors. I think that was a factor. I think there was the fact that he was Billy Joe was his mandatory. Probably didn't really want that fight. Probably where he saw himself at that time, probably saw Billy Joe, as the hunter. He was the hunted. And it was probably a fight that he found hard to get up for with all the cancellations. Then he probably just felt that he had to get it out of the way. But obviously Billy Joe had a different script. It was his biggest fight of his career, and he rose to the occasion. Andy Lee possibly didn't perform as well as he could, and Billy Joe boxed really well and won the fight. And now Billy Joe's undefeated, and he's in the driving seat probably to get the Golovkin fight. Andy obviously wants to get back there. So yeah, look, there's the middleweight. There's lots of great fights in the middleweight division. I think Golovkin has kind of, at the minute, cemented himself as the number one, cut above the rest. Obviously, he's got a difficult fight on Saturday night. Danny Jacobs is dangerous, but I do think Golovkin will win that fight. But of course, then the only other guy that's really a challenge to Golovkin, who he hasn't fought, that means something, is Billy Joe Saunders, because he's WBO champion. So hopefully that fight gets made in the summer, and then we'll see what happens after that.
The Miracle Man, Danny Jacobs, you can't help but like him. He's such a nice fellow, and you can see how hard he trains and the effort he puts in. Having shared a ring with Golovkin himself and dealt with his power and his timing, what advice would you give to Jacobs to sort of nullify Golovkin?
I mean, everyone's got different attributes, different strengths and weaknesses. Danny's a good boxer, good hand speed, nice jab, can punch, dangerous early on. But so most of his knockouts come early. If I was Danny's trainer or part of his team, I wouldn't be thinking about 12 rounds. I'd condense 12 rounds into 4 or 5, and I'd just go for it. I'd go for it, and I wouldn't be thinking about pacing it. I'd just go for it, 3, 4, 5 rounds. I wouldn't care about pacing it. Maybe you have to throw 2 rounds worth of punches into 1 round. That kind of a pace where you're raining that many shots in on Golovkin that you are landing, because he does carry power, he does have speed, you know. And before he kind of warms into it, Golovkin, and gets used to it, I'd just throw everything at him. If I was in Danny's team, I'd say go out there, don't pace it, just go for it. Yeah, you're going to fall.
All right, yeah. So hopefully it lives up to the billing, and it is a good contest. You see Conlan coming in just as a Eskimo.
Got to go for a little walk now. Day of the fight, get some fresh air, walk the legs, and just get some fresh air. Just go for a little walk and switch off for a bit.
Well, I'm going to leave you boys to it. Thank you very much.
Versus Jacobs, middleweight madness, Saturday, March 18th.